Hey there, I'm Ernie Zore, and I'm here once again with my good friend, Larry Housel, and today we're going to demonstrate Puritas' latest gift tax app. Larry, are you as excited about this as I am?
Oh, Ernie, I am pumped. You know, nothing gets my heart racing like gift taxes and generation skipping transfers.
Right. But seriously, if our viewers have been waiting for the 2024 release, this video is something they will not want to miss.
All right, so Ernie, we got a chance to look over this. I think at first it was like no big deal, and then we did a double take and looked, and it's quite a different form this year than years prior, isn't it?
When you look at it, it really, it's like, oh my gosh, everything's different. But then when you take a longer, closer look at it, substantively, it's not that very much different at all. In fact, I'm almost willing to go out on a limb and say it's exactly the same. What has really changed is the layout of the forms, which have gone from portrait to landscape.
That's right. When we were looking at it the first time, what we raised our eyebrows about was it went from 5 to 10 pages.
Right.
So that at first it seemed like a big difference, right?
Now here, Larry, here's the on the screen now. I've got the 709, and by the way, we're doing this so early that we're using the IRS draft form, as you can see on your screen. But you know what? I don't recall ever seeing very many, if any, changes between the draft and the regular version. So I think we're in good shape using these images that we have now. And what I'm showing you is page 1, and this is the new form. And the rest of, you saw the 2 portrait layouts, and they look normal. But everything after that, from page whatever we ran, 3 or 4 now, all the way to page 10, they're all in landscape mode. And you know, the first thing I thought about this is, wow, landscape mode, that's great, because one of the biggest problems I had with not problems, but
Issues,
complaints, comments, maybe, they would say, geez, the IRS, they're asking for the Donee's name and address, the relationship, the description, and they're giving you an inch of space. And so this form, to large extent, is a cure for that. You still might have a problem putting the relationship if it was like mother-in-law twice removed. I don't know if there's such a relationship as that, but you're still going to have a hard time fitting it in these little fields, but
yeah, at least you've got them there.
Yeah,
at least they're there.
Exactly, Larry. At least they're there. So you can see, I'm just paging through real fast. All these are all in landscape mode, all the way to the end. And you might say, oh my gosh, what are all these? You know what? They're not really extra pages, because what they've done, like for example, on Schedule A, I'm zipping up to Schedule A. Okay, parts 1, 2, and 3. We're on the same page with the old form. With the new form, you see part 1 has its own page, gift for donor and gifts by spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then part 2, which are for direct skips, that's got its own page, which it didn't before. So that's in
separates
part.
them out.
You're right, exactly.
So is there any differences in the general information? I know you could put a foreign address in there now, and some of the lines moved around.
Larry, that is one of the changes. They either relocated the foreign information, or they didn't even have it in the old form. I can't remember which it is, but yeah, those are. So you would see what you see on the screen there. Lines 9 through 11 are maybe new fields that weren't in the old form.
I got it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's about it, other than that, right?
Right. Well, there was something else that you mentioned, though, earlier, maybe not in this video, but we'll go to page 2 here. The spousal consent.
Oh, yeah, the spousal consent.
That's a completely new page, and it used to be on the front part of it, and now they've expanded it. They want a little more information, and they gave it its own page.
And they don't require a signature.
Dan, I was just going to say that, Larry. I knew that they had this new thing, but you know what? I didn't realize until you mentioned it earlier this afternoon, or whenever you told me. I didn't realize that. Yeah, you don't have to have the spouse sign it any longer.
So they trust you.
Yeah, it's right. So I don't know, where are we now?
I think where you want to open up a sample file.
Yep, and I already did that. Yep, here we go.
Did? Okay.
Wait a minute. No, hold on. Didn't mean to do that. There it is. Yeah, sure. Betty J. Sample.
Yeah, you know Betty pretty well.
Well, you know what? Betty and I go back many years. I mean, as an example, in a file. Not like I dated her in high school or anything, but obviously she's a very generous lady because she's given away 2 pretty substantial gifts, as you are soon to find out. Should I go to...
let's have a look at the new gifts.
Yeah, let's
Because I
go
know
to
there's some
Schedule A.
changes there, and we can look at that.
And this is part
this is
1
Schedule
of
A?
Schedule A, yes. And we're not getting into that spousal split gift stuff, but here's the gift.
Now,
and
are
go
these
ahead, what
new
were
at
you
the
gonna
bottom here, these check boxes?
Yeah, I believe that the check boxes are new. Some of them are new. I think maybe there was 1 or so that weren't there. I think charitable gift, that
deductibles.
yeah, I think those are new.
Okay.
But you could see what we've done here is that, you know, it's hard to get all the fields across the screen, although we've done it in the background in the PDF. But normally, we felt it was easier to compress these things instead of making them landscape mode, which doesn't translate very well into computer screens. We've made them in portrait mode, and so they're more what would we call vertically oriented as opposed to horizontally oriented. But it's the exact same information in there, and you can see that we've got item 1A, Scarlett Sample. She's the daughter. Cash gift of $20,000.
All right. And so that's it for Schedule A. And then if you go
that's
down...
it for part 1.
Part 1.
Yeah,
sorry,
right. No,
part
we
two,
have
still
part
gotta look
2.
at. So this is for skipping generations, like a grandchild or something. There it is, right?
Yep, that's it. You see it's in there as granddaughter. So what happens is if you gift to a grandchild, the IRS is saying, hey, wait a minute. This had to go through your child and then to your grandchild. So they actually have a kind of a double taxation here.
That's why they're separating it out like that.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
And yeah, there's something that ameliorates the whole... Ameliorate, is that the right word? There's something that
I think that is the right
softens the effect. Let me put it that way.
When you put it like that.
Yeah, and we'll show you that in a moment. Now, where are we at, Larry?
So then we'll go to the part 3, the indirect skips.
Okay, and part 3, indirect skips. That's wait. Okay, yeah, I clicked on it, but I didn't go to it. There we go. Yeah, nothing in there. There's no indirect skips. Indirect skips are for like when you're making a gift to a trust.
Got it.
And eventually it'll go to the skip person, or it might not go to the skip person. And yeah, we're not going to do that. Those are real tricky. Well, let's not get into that.
Yeah, right.
And instead,
so I see you've got 20,000 in there, and other than what we just went over, not a lot of changes.
Yes,
to those
yes.
3.
2 $20,000 gifts, one to the daughter and one to the granddaughter.
And so, other than the layout changes, we've got some updates to the limits. The annual exclusion is up to 18,000 now.
It is. That's right. And the program has gone through and it recognized. It doesn't always, but most of the time, it will recognize how many Donees there are. It counts them. It puts them in on page 1. I'll flip over it real fast. I'll come right back to this. Let's go to page 1. Number of Donees right here.
Oh, it automatically puts
2.
that in there.
Yep, it figures that out. You can change it.
And that's why it's blue, because it's
blue because there are
in.
so many different ways to parse the names and the addresses that the program could possibly make a mistake when it's counting discrete Donees.
That's what you meant by most of the time.
Right.
Okay.
And so let's go back now. Where were we? We're on there we go. So what it did then is it took the 40,000, 2 gifts, because this is the total of parts 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
It took the total 20 and 20, got 40,000. And what it did then here is it took the 2 Donees and it gave them each that $18,000 exclusion that Larry was just talking about. And that comes to 2 times 18, that's 36,000. It subtracts that from the 40 and it leaves 4,000.
That's right.
But I am familiar with the basic exclusion amount there, that $13,610,000. That's up from $12 million last year. And I think where you were headed with this is that $4,000 that you would normally think like, oh, am I taxed on this because I went over the 18,000? And the answer is no, because the government gives you the $13,610,000 lifetime exclusion. And so there's a way you would calculate it. Wait a minute. You know what? I think it's right. Wait a minute. Let me look.
Gifts from prior periods.
Turn away. Don't look. What was Stewart on Saturday Night Live used to say? Don't look at me. Hold on. I'm trying to find something and I'm not succeeding. Oh, here it is.
It is, yeah.
Yep. This is what I want to say is that in part 2 here of Schedule D, you've got your 13.6 lifetime exclusion, and you're not going to get taxed on that extra $4,000. So they're subtracting the $4,000 from that, and here you're keeping track. Okay, so for future years, you'll be working not with that $13,600,000, but you'll be working with $13,606,000 because you used up $4,000 of your lifetime exclusion.
And that is a common question that comes up. What happens with that $4,000 after you figure out the one-time exclusion?
That was a common question. In fact, I was wondering if we hadn't made a short video in the past about that very question.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, right. Okay.
So we'll put a link to that.
Yeah.
So people
we hope to
can hop over to that once we get it up on the YouTube page. That pretty much takes us to the bulk. I mean, I know there's a lot of other little things,
and there are things like gift splitting, which I'm sure we'll do a video on that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There's gift splitting. Oh my gosh, so many other things. Indirect skips, we didn't cover that at all. And so there's a lot of ground. Gift tax could get, I think, really complicated, and we're trying to make it easy, because if you're doing a normal return, I don't want to say a normal return, but the kind that common people make, they're not giving away millions of dollars. They're making small gifts. In a lot of instances, they don't have to worry about that $13 million lifetime exclusion, because they're never going to get to that point anyway.
Yeah, and this is a good way to at least know what's different. If you did one last year, you're looking at this and you're like, hey, this looks way different than last year. That's why. It's not really that different. There's a couple little tweaks, but mostly it's just giving you more room to put this information.
Right. Different. The changes in the layout. I don't even know if you asked, there were those few things that we mentioned about the inclusion of foreign information and putting spousal consent on a separate page. Otherwise, there's no difference from what it was the year before. You can say they're more user-friendly from the standpoint that there's more room to make entries and things like that.
And they wanted to challenge your ability to build these landscape and portrait modes.
For sure.
Do we want to look at the printing and go over the completed form?
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's a great idea. Let's just take this one, and I'm going to click on the print button. You would print the portrait-related pages and the landscape in separate passes. We'll do one right now. Let's see. What is this? Yeah, these are the 3 pages that come out in portrait. And wow,
oh, look at that.
That come up pretty fast. I'll blow it up so you can see it better. There we go. And look at that. Nice.
Very nice. Yeah. So
okay.
basically,
Yeah. You see, there's the $4,000, and you know what? It's getting taxed $720. But when you get down here, you see, there we go. $720 minus the applicable credit ends up being balance 0. We're so early this year that we've got draft here, so that you don't accidentally file it too soon, because the IRS, at the point in time when we're releasing this video or producing the video, there has not been a finalized form.
So somebody can feel confident completing the form, getting it ready to go, and just waiting for the final.
It's a regular form now. It doesn't say draft anymore.
Read it right out of there.
Yeah. Okay. So you could do that if you're really pressed. I don't see a reason why you would. Anyway,
They just release it for people like us so that we can get it all built out.
where are we at? Okay,
Let's go back to the print and show the other pages.
the landscape ones. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say don't save this, and we'll go back to the print and Schedule A. There were no continuation pages, so I'm just gonna do A1 and A2. That's what I get for trying to create a
Well, yeah,
an example file the same afternoon that we're filming the the video. Don't know where that came from. There, but there we go. Yeah, these are the two.
real time troubleshooting.
Part one and part one, part two. Oh, and you know what? That was actually a good example of if there's things that you don't that you need to add to the form. The fact that it's in a word processing file makes it really easy for you to make corrections and changes.
I agree.
And I'll tell you, here's one that I hear about all the time, really. Somebody will say, oh, you know what, I filed my tax a couple years ago, I made a mistake, they want me to file an amended return. And you can go, let's do this, real quick, it won't take more than a second. We'll go, we'll hit print, we'll go get page 1, we'll print it out, here it is. And here's what the IRS wants you to do. That's it. Ready to print, ready to save as a PDF or do whatever you do.
Wow, that's a little. That's a nice little Easter egg you just provided there.
And
Yeah,
that's a good little feature. All of our programs, I might add, do that. The 706, probate, guardianship, child support, all of them they use Word as a conduit for printing. So it's pretty cool.
Very
actually,
nice,
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I don't have anything more to add to our analysis of the Form 709.
I guess thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, we're always available. You can hit the email anywhere on our website or give us a call. And if you want to like or subscribe to this video, if you enjoyed it, we'd really appreciate that, right? Share
Yes,
it.
we sure would appreciate it. And before we go, you forgot to remind viewers to check out our latest book,
Oh,
Chat GPT and the Law. It's a comprehensive guide to AI in law offices, so it's good stuff. Because we get a lot of law. 709, we get viewers of all kinds, non-professionals, professionals, CPAs, attorneys, everybody. But with the 709, that's not necessarily true. We get a lot of
yeah. A lot of different people that need to file this form. They're not all necessarily in the legal industry.
So anyway, I don't know how I got on that subject, but I just wanted to remind you that our book is available on Amazon, and it's also available through our website, and the link will be in the description below.
Awesome.
Yep. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching. We love making these videos, and we hope you love watching them. So until next time, Larry and I are going to tell you, we're going to give you strict orders to stay healthy, stay safe, and stay happy.
Bye now.